চোখ বন্ধ করে দিন। Hello everybody, assalamu alaikum. Okay, let's continue with our review. Okay, so last class we discussed about the uh, demand and supply chapter, right? We talked about the demand factors, then supply factors, equilibrium, excess demand, and then excess supply, then calculation of total revenue. Okay, then interaction of different kind of change in demand and supply. Okay, so today we'll start um, equilibrium. Sorry, price elasticity of demand. Okay. 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 So price elasticity of demand. It means that think about the word elasticity. Okay. So this is a common topic from a common topic from yeah what your physics. Okay. Because we have what elastic things around us, right? Like think about your maybe t-shirt. Okay, at the collar of your t-shirt, if you stress them, you'll find that it's a bit elastic, right? Your sweater, your jacket, okay, in your hand you'll find elastic, right? So why we call it elastic? Because when we are stretching, we are using force, the length is increasing. That means it's responding, right? When something is responding to your force, that's elastic. Okay. Okay. So in economics, a similar concept is being used. It's price elasticity of demand. Okay. So this time we are not using any force. We are changing the price. Okay. So when we are changing the price, what's happening? When we are changing the price, what's happening that whether we are having any change in the demand or not. Okay? So that's the issue over here. That if the yeah, demand is changing due to changing, there is a significant change. There is a large response when the price is changing. Then we can say that's an elastic product. And if it's not changing, and there is an insignificant change, then it's an inelastic product. Okay? Just like in like physics, we discussed that our clothing is elastic, but our chair, table, these are inelastic. Okay, these are not changing its length when you're stretching, right? Okay. So see, here there's a graph for um, elastic demand and inelastic demand. Okay, the first one is inelastic. See, this is almost a vertical line. Okay, so more the vertical, it will be more inelastic. Okay, so see that any kind of change in price, see, the price is changing from P1 to P2, it's increasing to P2, but see the response, the demand is falling, but a very insignificant change. Okay, compared to the see the change in price is huge, but the response from the demand is small. And see in this case, when the price is falling, okay, there is a huge response in demand. Okay, so this is elastic. Okay, the price elastic demand curve. Okay, so you see that a change in price is a similar change in just like the previous graph. Okay, but the response from the demand quantity demanded is huge, right? Okay, so that's an elastic demand curve. So see, this is almost a horizontal line. Okay, so more the horizontal, the more elasticity you'll find. Okay, so see that the types of values of price elastic demand is here. Perfectly inelastic, demand is 0. Okay, that means when the graph is at vertical, okay, totally vertical, okay, then say the value of price elasticity one will be 0, and when it's inelastic, like we see in the graph above, right? This one over here, it's above 0 but below 0, below 1. And unitary elastic is when the value of PD is exactly 1, and elasticity is when the value is more than 1. Okay, like in this elastic demand curve, okay? If you calculate the PD, you'll find it's the value is above 1, okay, more than 1. And perfectly elastic when it's totally horizontal, when the demand curve is horizontal, you'll find that the value is infinity. Okay. Mm, so the formula of PED is like this, that percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, so that's the price elasticity of demand. So if you can see that from this diagram, from this formula, you can easily calculate price elasticity of demand. Okay. Okay, so you don't have math in your syllabus, but I think you should try some of the maths. Then the concepts will be even clearer. Okay, so you can break down the formula in this way. Right? It could be like this: Q2 minus Q1 multiplied by 100 divided by Q1. Okay, so what we are getting over here, we are getting percentage change in quantity demand. Okay. So Q2 means new quantity, Q1 means old quantity. So see what's happening, that the demand is yeah, changing, and we are calculating the percentage change in quantity demanded with this formula, right? So see, then we'll divide it by the percentage change in price, which means P2 minus P1, that means new price minus old price, divided by old price multiplied by 100. Okay, so with this formula you can easily calculate the PED. Okay, and like we said, if it is more than one, then it's perfectly elastic. Yeah, sorry, if it's more than one, it's elastic, and if it is less than one, then inelastic. If it's equals to 0, then perfectly inelastic. If it's infinity, then perfectly elastic. And if you have equals to 1, you have unitary elastic, right? Okay. Okay. So our next topic is factors affecting price elasticity of demand. Okay, so see that many people get confused with this, with the topic that factors affecting demand. Okay, so it's not the same thing. It's different, right? See that the elasticity of supply, elasticity of demand factors are the following, right? And the availability of substitute. Okay, so if the substitutes are available, there are many kind of options, choices. Then, whenever the price is changing, consumers will switch to another option, right? Another substitute. So that's why if substitutes are available, PD is elastic, and if it's not available, then PD is inelastic, right? Then degree of necessity. Okay, so if the product is necessary, that means it will be inelastic. It will not be yeah, affected by the change in price much. Okay, like think about a necessary product. Suppose rice. Okay, so if the price of rice changes, there will be insignificant change in the quantity demanded, because Yeah, like when the rise of price of rice changes, what happens? We don't go for yeah, yeah, like we don't go for a huge response, right? Because see what's happening that uh, um, because it's a necessary thing. We will take the amount that is required. Okay? We will not take a huge amount when the price falls, or we will want to reduce our consumption in a significant manner uh, if the price rises. Okay? There might be some change, but the change will be insignificant. Okay. Next we have and think about a luxury product. If it's luxury, then there will be an elastic response. Why? Because think about a luxury item. What happens that if the price falls, there's a huge response. Okay. We try to afford them. We try to buy them more, right? And if the price increases, then we also respond a lot. That we stop buying it or we reduce it in a huge amount. Next is proportion of income spent. Okay, so how much income you are spending. Okay, so that's another issue. So if there is a high proportion of income spent, then what will happen? That you will be able to you'll if a price of a goods which has a high proportion, and if it changes, then we'll take it very seriously. Okay, suppose think about rent. Okay, rent is taking usually takes a high proportion of our income. That's why whenever rent increases, we try to increase the we try to look for alternative. Okay, because it's taking away a huge amount of my income. Okay, so that's why whenever rent changes, we look for alternative and we respond. Okay, that's why rent is will be considered as a price elastic service, right? Because you are we are responding. And now think about a pen, a simple pen. Okay, a 5 taka worth of pen. Okay, maybe. Okay, so what will happen that if the price rises to 6 taka, maybe, then there won't be much response because maybe it's not a big deal for us because the proportion of income spent is not much. Okay, we'll still buy at 6 taka. Okay, so it won't be a big problem. Okay, so it will be inelastic. Next we have time period. So time period is it's like in the short run in the short run there will be mm, um, uh, less response. Okay, but in the long run there will be huge response. Okay, so see what's happening that when the price rises, when the price of the product rises, what happens that we will be we will not we may not stop buying it or reduce the consumption immediately. We may take some time. Okay, so that's why in the long run we are these products becomes elastic, but in the short run it's inelastic. Okay, so let's move to the next chapter. We don't have much time, so we need to go through these topics fast, right? It's around 2 months, less than 2 months actually. Okay, we have to finish it and come up with mocks and everything. Okay, so we are trying to finish it within a month. Okay. Okay, so see, the price elasticity supply is a similar thing. So I'm not getting into that detail. See that again, if it's see this one is almost a horizontal line, so that's why this is elastic, and this one is almost vertical, so that's why this is inelastic. Okay, and the values are totally the same thing, so you don't need to worry about it. It's the same as PD, but one thing about this is if you do the formula, the formula is also same. You just change the QD to QS. Okay? But the answer, the PD, the calculation answer of PD is always negative, always, and the answer of PES is always positive. Okay? Because there is a positive relationship between price and supply, and there's a negative relationship between price and demand. Okay. Okay, next we have factor affecting price elasticity of supply. Mm, so price elasticity of supply, see what's happening, that stock level. Okay, if the stock level is high, okay, this is an important topic. Okay, go through this. So you'll find in your exam, you'll definitely find these factors. Okay, whether you'll get price elasticity of supply factors or price elasticity of demand factors, okay, or supply factors or demand factors. Okay? So all those factors should be in your mind. Okay, so you should memorize and understand them properly. Okay, so next what we have here is stock level. So if we have a high stock level, then the producers can respond, right? So it will become elastic, and if there is a low amount of stock, it's inelastic. Production speed, if it is fast, it will be elastic because producer can respond. But if it's slow, then they cannot respond, so it's inelastic. So think about the agricultural goods. Agricultural goods are like what, inelastic goods, right? Because it's very difficult and it takes time to increase the supply of agricultural goods. But on the other hand, manufactured goods has a very high speed. Okay, we can easily increase the supply of manufactured goods. Um, Okay, then think about spare capacity. Okay, it's just like the spare wheel of the car, right? So see, if we have spare wheel, then we can respond to any kind of sudden problem in your car, right? But same goes for the machineries. If you have spare capacity, that means your full capacity is 1,000 per day, and currently you are producing 700 per day. That means you have 300 spare capacity. So whenever there will be a rise in demand or something, you can increase the supply if necessary. So if there is spare capacity, it's elastic. If it's if spare capacity is not available, you are working in full capacity, then you cannot respond and it will be inelastic. Time period, again, in the short run it's difficult to increase the supply, so it's inelastic, and in the long run it's elastic. Ease of entry into the market. Okay, so if small farms and new farms can easily enter, then increasing supply is easy. Okay, it's elastic, and if it's difficult to enter into the market, that means it's not so easy to increase supply, so it will be inelastic. Producer substitutes, like what are the other options the producers, for producers, like what else they can produce. Okay, so if they can produce in more, then they can have if they can easily switch to other options, then it's elastic, and if they cannot, then it's inelastic. Okay. Again, mobility. If you can move your resources easily, then it's elastic supply, and if you cannot move your resources geographically or occupationally, then it will be considered as inelastic. Okay. Am I going too fast? Let me know. Okay. So if you're facing any problem with any topic, you can also ask them. Okay. So see, that's for this topic, PED and PS. So this is a very important topic, and I have covered it in a very short period of time. Let me know if you're facing any problem. Okay. So there are some questions over here. Let's see. So what will happen to the price of rice after flood and more people immigrating to your country? And so because of flood, what will happen? Your supply will fall, right? Okay, let's draw it here. So suppose whenever they're looking for price, uh, try to draw the whole curve. Okay, a bit messy, so let's fix it. Your graph should be neat and clean. Okay, so this was the original demand curve and original supply curve. and at that time this was the original quantity, and this is original price. Okay, so after flood what will happen? The supply will fall, right? So there will be a leftward shift, S2. Okay. Mm. And uh, if more people are migrating to your country, that means population will rise, so demand will increase. So there will be a rightward shift to D2. Okay. So the new intersection point is D2 and H2. So the quantity is this Q2, and that's our answer because the question was asking what will happen to the price. Okay, so see, the price is rising. Okay, so both flood and rise in immigration is causing this effect. The price is rising because of the leftward shift of supply and the rightward shift of demand. Okay, so you have to draw it and explain it. Okay. Okay, what we have next? Next we have PD of rice is more inelastic than chocolate. Okay, so this is a tricky question, right? In general, you can support the statement in this way, like rice is a necessary good, so this is inelastic. Chocolate is a luxury good, that's why it's in elastic. So elastic, right? Uh, Elastic demand, and so you can also explain that, yeah, whenever the price of rice is changing, people will not respond much because they will buy almost the same amount. And as chocolate is a yeah luxury item, so whenever there will be a change in price, there will be like a huge response. If the price falls, there will be huge rise in demand, and when the price increases, then there will be a huge fall in demand. Okay. Then you'll say, however, there are some exceptions as well. In some places, like the chocolate is so addictive and so habituated, it's for the people who are so addictive and habituated, the price is not an issue. Okay, you must buy chocolate for those people. So, yeah, so for them, it's inelastic. Okay, and exception for rice can be like we are saying rice is an inelastic thing because it's necessary, but it's not always true. Like in some country, you'll find it as a luxury good as well. Okay, for them, and this is not a staple food or the main food maybe. So for them, rice is a luxury food. Also over there, maybe you'll find that it's elastic. Okay, and there are many different types of rice. Okay, so we can generalize. So if you talk about a premium rice, definitely they will be. It won't be yeah, considered as necessary. It's a luxury, so we'll have elastic demand for them. And same goes for maybe cheaper chocolate. Okay, cheap chocolate cannot be considered as a luxury, so for those will be considered as an inelastic goods because yeah, this these are so cheap, so a small rise in price will not have much effect. Okay, then let's see about a question about the PS. Okay, so when the question will ask to you to evaluate, definitely you have to come up with a conclusion. Okay, so in this case, you'll admit that there are some exceptions, but you can come up with a conclusion that yeah, rice is usually inelastic and chocolate is elastic because of the um, degree of necessity. Okay. Then and the next question: rice is more inelastic than toys. Okay. So over here, you again have to link it with the um, uh, uh-huh. So here we'll find that rice is more inelastic. So supply will be more inelastic in this case. See what's happening that um, um, So supply of rice, see that um, rice is an agricultural item, and toys are what manufactured item, right? So increasing the supply of rice is difficult. It takes time, like we just discussed, right? It takes time. It depends on the nature. Okay, and whereas the toy is a manufactured item, so it's very easy to increase their supply. But on the other hand, there are some exemptions, right? Rice is if you rice is sometimes elastic. So suppose if you it's now the technology is improving, and we may store rice with I don't know, with warehouse or refrigerator. I don't know. No, I don't think a refrigerator is required for rice storage. But yeah, we have different kind of technology. Maybe we have hybrid technology and other preservative techniques. Okay, so which are making rice more elastic day by day. Okay, and the toys, for toys, maybe you'll find that the raw material, if you don't have the raw material, if you don't have the stock of raw material, then you cannot produce. So so even if there are toys and manufactured goods, you will be failing to increase the supply. Okay. Okay. So that's the situation. Okay. Okay, so toys may become inelastic. Okay. Okay, then that's all for today. Okay, and so you should go through these topics. Okay, carefully. This is a very important topic. And go through the mark schemes and the question papers. You'll find similar questions. Go through the answers. There are detailed answers over there. Okay, and let me know if you're facing a problem. Okay. Okay, then see you in the next class. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody.